Hey, what's up, everybody? So today was the PlayStation showcase, which I got confused. I thought it was the state of play, and then we were talking about it. I was watching IGN's broadcast of it, and it was an hour long, and they were like, "Well, they haven't had one since like 2021," and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is something different than the state of play." So I'm gonna probably do this in two parts. I'm gonna get right into the games and what I thought, and then I'm gonna do a final assumption of like the showcase. So the first game they showed was, I think it's called Fair Games, and it almost looked like a bank heist game. And I'll just say, there's going to be a lot of games on this that they showed that I'm not really interested in. Maybe the graphics look good, and maybe the gameplay was like, eh. But I'm a very picky gamer. I don't play everything. And I'm sure there's people who just play RPG, or there's gamers out there who just play first-person shooters. So that one was just kind of like, eh. Helldivers, okay, I first was just like, I think Helldivers was the one that looked or reminded me of like Starship Troopers. I'm like, what is this? It started off kind of cool, and I was just like, okay. But then as the gameplay goes, I was just like, that doesn't really seem like it's a game for me. The next game, and I'm just going to spend a couple minutes because I didn't want to make this like a huge, 5-part video, but it is definitely going to be 2 parts and a final thought, like I said. There was one called Immortals, and I think it was Avium, Immortals of Evium, and I was going to say the graphics look kind of cool for that, but it's not something I probably would pick up. And by the way, when you guys are watching these videos, let me know what you thought of the showcase and what games you were excited for and everything. So I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts. I had to write everything down because I know I wouldn't remember. Then there was a game called Almost or Immortals of Aevum. I think it was like it almost reminded me of Infamous. That's what I was gonna say. I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, this Immortals game, I was like, okay, is this like like an Infamous game or something? It kind of looked kind of cool. It looked kind of cool. There was one that was called Ghost Runner, and that game wasn't for me. There was the next game after that, and I think I got them mostly in order. There was a game that was showed off called Phantom Blade, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, is this Ghost of Tsushima 2? I'm like, oh my god, I never expected this, but I was really digging it. Like the samurai, the combat looks awesome, the character design looks really good, and you know what? I will have to say, excuse me, this might be one game I might actually pick up for PS5. I just think the fighting style, the gameplay, just everything, it just looked really cool. And yeah, I don't know when it comes out, but plus we've seen a lot of trailers without release dates. So possibly at the end of this year or going into next year, I think we're going to get a lot of these games. So yeah, Phantom Blade is one on my list that I'm definitely thinking about getting. There was a game called Sword of the Sea, and I was talking to my friend Nikki, who was watching it at work too, and it looked like Journey, and I've always wanted to play Journey, and this one almost looked like that style. I think it was the same game company that made Journey, but I don't know. I don't think it was a game that definitely would interest me. There was, the next game was called The Tales. I think it was called The Tales 2 Principle, and I didn't know it was a sequel. So, but the graphics looked really cool, and I was like, okay. So apparently it was a sequel, so I've never played the first game. So, but yeah, I was really, really in tune with the trailer. Then the next one was Neva, and that one looks really sad. I'm like, it almost looked like what was that one dog game that came out for the Wii? My daughter loves playing, and I can't think of it, with the white dog. I thought it was that. And I was like, oh, I gotta tell my daughter that they're doing another one. But then it was like, had something like with like a deer and it dies, and then like you get the baby or something. You got to protect the baby or something. I was like, oh, this game looks really sad. I don't know if it would be for me. There was a game called Cat Quest, and that's a hard pass. I mean, you know, cats dressed up as pirates. I mean, could be interesting, but the gameplay and stuff didn't really interest me. Foam Star and the Plucky Squire. I just wasn't really interested in Foam Star. The Plucky Squire was kind of cool, like being that small and going through like, you know, all these other places like cabinets and like a dollhouse or something. So I thought that might be interesting, but I didn't think it would be something that that I would be interested in. There was a game called Teardown, which I was like, oh, okay, this is like, I wonder if it's the same people who did Minecraft. So I was just like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I'll have to mention this to my daughter because I thought it was like some type of Minecraft game, but I was just like, eh. And then we got Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I was like, oh, there we go. And I was just like really interested into it. Even though I've only played the first Metal Gear Solid, I wanted to play the other ones, but you know, there's a few that my friends has played that said, oh, you know, the graphics is good, but the gameplay sucks. But apparently, after the after show on IGN, they are going to do a collection on PS5, which I don't understand which ones it's going to include. So I don't know if that's a part of like a remastered. But yeah, they're doing some type of collection. So I wonder if they're doing some type of collection plus the Metal Gear Solid, like remastered or remake. So, but I don't know. I'm really, really, really kind of excited for Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. There was the Towers of, I think it was called Agabatha or something. I didn't catch the last name because I was helping a customer, so I didn't get to see the last part of what the game was called. Final Fantasy 16, the character designs look fantastic. I was like, okay, I had a feeling this was going to be Final Fantasy. I was like, oh, it looks like Final Fantasy, and I was right. I was like, okay, Final Fantasy 16 looks pretty cool. So that one might be something that I might pick up. Who knows? But I really like the character designs. Then we got to see Alan Awake 2. And I was like, when I saw that, I was just like, okay, this is really cool. Like something involved with the FBI. There's a murder. And then my friend Michelle at work, she was like, they were like, oh, that's Alan Wake 2. And I was like, have you ever played the first one? I was like, no. And I was just like, oh, that's something I would love to check out. I am going to stop right there, and I'm going to do a part 2 on the PlayStation Showcase.